All right, welcome into another edition of the 2025 MLB Draft Show. I got my guy Sean Gamble here out of IMG Academy here talking a little ball, a little MLB Draft Combine. Sean.
Good to see you.
Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
What's Sean Gamble all about? On the field, off the field, who are you on the field? And then off the field, man, hobbies, passions, spare time, what are you doing?
Yeah, so on the field, I'm known for versatility. I'm known for playing multiple positions. I'm known for my speed and power threat. But it's really about, leading a group to be successful. I've been at IMG for the past 4 years now. I've been part of some really, really special teams.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to win and learned the work ethic that it takes to be able to be successful in all this. Those are a few things that I'm known for. Off the field, my hobbies are fishing and hunting. I love being outside. I live in Florida, so I'm always outside hunting, hanging out with friends, and fishing as well.
Yeah. Iowa boy.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
Born
sir.
and raised in Iowa.
Yep.
Comes down to Florida, IMG Academy. Tell me the biggest differences between Iowa and Florida.
There's some differences for sure. The weather's a big one.
Yeah.
Iowa has a gnarly winter and not so much in Florida. But I went to IMG Academy because I realized that it could maximize my potential in this sport and in this game, and to chase my dreams and to become, equipped to be able to be the best version of myself on the baseball field is where I thought I could be most successful. And IMG Academy has shown me that and done that for me.
What's your best tool?
My speed, on a 2080 grade, my speed would probably be the highest grade.
An 8. You're a burner, huh?
I really picked up on my speed. I really worked on my speed throughout the course of the year. Ran one of the fastest 60s I've ever run a few weeks back at IMG. And
there you go.
Yes, sir.
There you go. So what's next for Sean Gamble? You've obviously put in a lot of work over the last 12 months. Got bigger, stronger during the winter. What does the next 12 months look like for Sean Gamble?
It's either going to be in a minor league uniform or it's going to be in a Vanderbilt uniform.
Yeah.
But, no matter where I'm at, I'm going to attack each day and keep the same work ethic and, be around a group that wants to succeed. Because no matter where I'm at, these minor league kids, they want to make it to the big leagues. Or if I'm at Vanderbilt, these kids want to win a national title, a College World Series.
Yeah.
So it's keeping the discipline, the work ethic, and sticking to my process and sticking to my routine, because it's different from others. But the more you embrace others and make friends that are like-minded to yourself, can really help.
I like that. Tim Corbin, tell me about it.
Tim and I have a great connection. We have a great connection. He's been at Vandy for a long time. He's a guy that I trust. He recruited me for quite a while, and I think that Coach Corbin envisions me to be successful in his program. And I think he really cares about the person, not only the player.
I've seen you play second base. I've seen you play shortstop. I've seen you play center field.
Yep.
You made Petco look small last summer in center field. Is there a spot that you like more than any other?
No, I don't. I have no preference because it's all about the team.
Okay.
And that's the name of my defensive game, is versatility and being wherever the 8 guys who are beside me need me.
Yeah.
I realized that working my way up to the major league level, there could be a Gold Glove center fielder, and I'm not gonna play over him because he's the name of the franchise. But if I have the ability to play another position, that only adds more value for me.
So I'm assuming you must look up to some other Swiss Army knives in the big leagues. Are there guys that kind of come to mind when you see your game?
Mookie Betts, Cody Bellinger. I love watching PCA in the outfield.
Yes.
PCA has had a great year. His speed, his left-handed bat. There's guys that I look up to for sure, but those 3 come to mind really quickly.
So where does Sean Gamble have the biggest area, the biggest room to improve? Where can your game just take another step?
Over the course of my season at IMG, I've made the best offensive strides that I've ever made.
Okay.
My K rate was almost 0. It was 3% this year. I swung and missed barely ever, just because I was trusting my plan, I was trusting my approach, and I was letting the game come to me. Whereas you've seen it, I've struggled with that before.
Sure.
During the summer circuit, I had a lot of swing and miss, a lot of chase. Whereas this year, if I trusted myself enough to trust my plan and trust my approach, and when I put that into practice, it works. So because that switch has flipped, the more I build on that over the course of the year is only going to get better. Or the course of my years in this game is only going to get better. So I think that's going to be, if you look at me from my junior year in high school to where I am in 10 years, I think that's going to be the biggest improvement.
Sure. Data. Let's talk about, I've talked to so many people, man.
Yeah.
Sean Gamble, technology, data, hit tracks, TrackMan, all of that stuff. I know that you're big into it.
Yeah.
What sort of advantages does technology give you?
It lets you know your weak areas, and it lets you know your strengths, especially if you use it the correct way. I think video analysis and data can greatly improve your game because you can see where you line up against others and challenge yourself to be better. And it can show your ups and downs. It can show your peaks and valleys. And, I think the more opportunity you have to use it, the better off you can be.
Okay, so you mentioned Vanderbilt. We talked about Vanderbilt as a potential next step. The pro game is obviously calling. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here, right? What are you looking for in a future employer? Like, what are you looking for from your next team? Or is there anything specific that you'd like them to bring to the table?
I want them to envision me making a difference in their major league club one day. I want them to look at me and say, I see him playing for our major league club one day. Because you have to be interested in. You have to be a part of a group that believes in you and trusts in you and develops you into something that, could be great. So that would be the biggest one.
One more question, then it kind of hit you out of left field with a couple of questions.
Oh boy.
Adversity.
Yep.
Everyone goes through it. Everyone has been through it, some more than others. How about you, man? Personal and baseball. What have you had to kind of fight through to get to where you are today?
Well, I moved away from home when I was 15 years old. One morning I was sleeping in my house in Des Moines, Iowa with my family and everyone there taking care of me, and the next I was alone in Florida. And I had to grow up, and I had to figure out how to overcome adversity. And when I went home at night, I didn't have my parents or anybody by my side. And the best way that I dealt with it is taking failure as the opportunity to learn and grow. If you're failing right now, something better is on the way if you attack that failure and you attack that struggle the right way.
What's it like? I want to follow up on that just quickly, and then we'll go to these last three questions. Most people don't know the feeling of uprooting until they're 18, 19. You do it at 14 or 15, going down to Florida, IMG Academy. I mean, what's that? You kind of mentioned some pieces there, but that's got to be kind of a shell shock at such a young age.
In the beginning, it's a shell shock. I didn't know barely anybody there.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was getting myself into. However, when you find out your schedule and you formulate a great routine based on that schedule and you find the people who are surrounding you that you can trust, then it starts to flow. Then it starts to happen naturally. And IMG became a second home because I trusted the people around me. I stuck to my routine and my process and my day-to-day, even though if it looked different from others. You have to stay true to what works best for you while also being a positive influence on the ones around you.
All right, man. Last three questions. It's how every interview on this channel goes. You've spent a lot of time with these guys, specifically the high schoolers on the showcase and tournament circuit.
Yep.
I'll kind of open it up to anybody. If you were to go out to a steakhouse with any of these guys,
Okay.
who's going to ruin the dinner? Who's going to be the guy going, oh man, I'd rather have PB&J, I'd rather have chicken nuggets, I'd like my steak well done. Like, who's going to blow it?
Who's going to ruin the dinner?
Who's going to ruin a really expensive experience?
Man, I thought you were going to say best three friends that I would take with me.
No, that's too easy. No
who's going
layups.
to ruin the dinner? I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but you make it seem like I have to.
Come on.
Shoot.
There's got to be someone that had the weirdest snacks in their baseball bag throughout the couple of summers you spent with them.
Oh, I know. Josiah Hartshorn.
Really?
He was always banging on me for getting steaks and for eating well when he was a McDonald's guy. So
there you go.
Josiah loves his McDonald's. I love Josiah. He's my boy. But for that question, Josiah.
You can't trust those SoCal boys, can you?
I don't know about them.
How about the same group? Who's the one guy from that group? Actually, I'll hit you with a different question first. Let's say you take at bats on these big league fields for the next 20 years, 25 years, play until you're 43. What's the one song that you would be comfortable with as your walk-up music, and if you could never change it? See, this is the big question.
This
right?
is a giant question.
This is the big one.
I'm a country guy at heart. I love Morgan Wallen. I love Jason Aldean. So I'd probably have to go with something Morgan Wallen related.
Okay.
I think maybe More Than My Hometown by Morgan Wallen.
Ooh, see, that fits.
Because I moved away from home, but I'm an Iowa guy. I'm from Des Moines, Iowa. I'm passionate about being an Iowa guy, and nothing comes above that. So More Than My Hometown by Morgan Wallen.
That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. All right, last question. That same group.
Okay.
Tournament showcases all these guys that we've gotten to know over the last 2 years.
Yep.
One guy can't date your sister. Who's it gonna be?
Can't date your sister.
That's right.
Let's see.
And I'll take Josiah away.
Yeah, you can't do Josiah.
You can't throw him under the bus like that.
So I get to pick from 3 guys, and Josiah was one of them. Or
Sure.
I get to pick from everybody.
Everybody you played with. Team USA guys, showcase guys, anybody.
Man.
See, this is where
you
rubber
really
meets the
throwing
road,
someone.
man.
Yeah, this is where you're really throwing someone under the bus. Can't date my daughter
Or sister,
or sister.
depending on where you put more value.
Can't date my sister. I don't want to say Dean Miles because he's my guy.
I think you already said it.
No, it's not Dean. I'm thinking about it, but it's not Dean. Shoot. I think maybe Micah Matthews.
Micah Matthews.
He plays football right now and baseball for Virginia Tech. But
Yeah.
I feel like if my sister dated Micah Matthews, I would never see my sister, just because he's a great dude, and I don't know if I'd ever see my sister if Micah got a hold of her.
See, that's a cop-out. Sean Gamble going with the football player.
No,
Staying
he's a
outside
baseball
of-
player too.
Staying
Come on
outside
now.
of the sport. Sean, hey,
It was good to see you. Thank you.
rooting for you, man. Good
I
luck.
appreciate it. Thank you.